Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Between You and Me. I'm Stardal Thurston, your host. And today we have a very, 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 very special guest who's sitting across from me, looking stunning, by the way. It's making me feel bad about myself. But she's an incredible businesswoman, wife, mother. When she launched her brand, her first collection sold out in 10 minutes. Her children's lines made it all the way to Nordstrom. She's moving, she's shaken, and I think she's a beautiful reflection of local girls and who we are, and has handled everything thrown her way with grace and elegance. And she's still one local girl. So I'm so proud to introduce and to have on the podcast Alexis Akiona, aka Lexbreezy.
Mahalo, mahalo. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor.
Oh my gosh. What did you have for breakfast today?
What did I have for breakfast? Is it called an Ali Nui?
I don't even know what that is. Tell me more.
Electrolyte drink.
Oh, the Alani Nu.
Yeah, Alani Nu.
Yeah,
See, I don't even know what I'm drinking.
I don't know how you say it. That's how I say it.
Yeah.
It's any kind. I make my own.
No breakfast, just straight.
No way. So that's how you become a business mogul. Just straight energy.
My kids
drink.
wake up at 5 a.m. and we're out the door by 6:30 and we're straight to it.
No way. Okay, something when we were talking about having you on the pod, I had messaged you on Instagram, and I message a lot of people, like if I don't have their number. Some people get back to you, some people don't. You responded to me like in 3 seconds. And I was sitting next to someone and he goes, that's how you know she's like a hammer. That she moves like she's a businesswoman.
We're making moves all the time, making quick decisions. Always quick. Yeah, it's either yes or no, always moving.
Yeah.
Got to.
And I got to say, I started texting people back so quick after that. I was like, okay, wait, this is how you move. Okay, so you're born and raised in Hilo. And your mom owns...
Raised in Hilo, correct.
Raised in Hilo. Where were you born?
Here, Honolulu. Yeah.
Wait, you know what hospital?
Kapiolani, actually. And my mom used to actually work at Kapiolani, and she did a lot of birth certificates. So my mom probably did your birth certificate, to be honest.
No way. Yeah, that's where I was born. Holy moly.
Yeah. And raised in Hilo. My mom got remarried, and I moved to Hilo. And so... For my childhood, I would grow up in Oahu and in Hilo. So I always spent half the time. My sister and my real dad was here. And then my mom and my stepdad was in Hilo.
How's that dynamic? Like I'm in a, how do you say, like blended family?
Yes,
where my mom had my dad, had a stepdad for a while.
Yes,
had,
exactly how you think it is. Crazy, wild. And it's still like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But it's kind of nice for me, at least. Like it's such a big family.
Yeah, big family. Yeah. My stepdad has 9 kids.
Oh!
So I have 6 stepsisters, 3 stepbrothers, and I still get to see them when I go to Hilo. I just was with them for Merry Monarch. So a very big family. My parents have, I think, 30 grandkids. Over 30, I think. I don't even know the number. I lost count.
What? Oh my God.
So big family and so much fun.
It's enough for like a football team.
Yes.
Like to play against each other.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of great. I just grew up with me and my mom. She was a single parent. But like, blended, there's so much more outreach. But like being raised, it was just me and her. So I've like had so much fun with the growth, especially as an adult to like have those connections. 30 grandchildren is gnarly. That's like Kardashian level freaking.
My parents have 30 grandkids. So my kids always want to be with their cousins, and they always want to go to Hilo.
Yeah.
And good fun. Lots of drama, but good fun.
So you were mentioning Merry Monarch, because was it your official launch that was at Merry Monarch way back when, like 9 years ago?
Yes.
How did it
launched Lexbreezy? It was in my mom's booth. My mom at the time, she only had a little 10 by 10 booth, and I just put a little pop-up rack right outside. I think it was 2016 we launched, and it was my first release, and we sold out in 10 minutes. It was crazy. I mean, people were grabbing racks. It was only a one-size-fit-all dress too. So it was pretty much everybody for themselves. But looking back now, I mean, we did it. So
yeah. So talk to me about, obviously you've grown now. You're in 4 stores, right? All across the state.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about the moment that you decided, hey, I'm going to try to do this. And then to get to that point of 10 minutes later, you're completely sold out.
I think to get to that point I was in my early 20s, and I just was trying to figure myself out personally. I was working a 9-to-5 job, and I think society was telling me like I could do more. And I decided that I wanted to start something of my own. I was surrounded by other bosses and CEOs, and I always felt like deep down inside, that's who I wanted to become. So I felt like that's kind of the spark where I was like, I want more for myself than just doing what I was doing at the time. And I think I wanted like there was something that I wanted something more passionate, that I was going to be more passionate about, something that just made me get up and smile and made me happy. I think I just was looking for happiness, you know, in your early 20s and you're trying to figure it out. So I think that was the spark, was where I was at the time. I was maybe confused and I didn't know. I mean, who knows what they're going to do when they're 20, 21 years old, you know, society's telling you one thing, your parents is telling you another. And in the end, you're just like, I want to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that spark was, I want to find happiness and I'm tired of feeling stuck. And then that's when I decided to leave my 9-to-5 job. I was working for the clothing company at the time, and I decided to leave. And then it was my mom who said, you know, why don't you start your own clothing line? You're already in clothing. I worked at Ross, Honolulu Surf. I had a lot of experience in streetwear. I had a lot of experience in retail. And then of course my mom was a fashion designer. So she really, you know, planted the seed to start something of my own. And from there, it just was just one step after another, and now we have 4 stores 9 years later, and it's been a crazy and wild journey, but you know, thank you, Lord, that we're here today. So
What a beautiful story. You know, I really resonate with that because I was telling you a little bit before that I thought my life was going to go one way with film and TV, and I still have a passion to help elevate the film industry here so that any little kid like me who is just like a weirdo creative that wants to make TV could. You know, I want to get rid of those boundaries, but also like having to get a real job, right? Quote unquote real
job.
Maybe not a passion job, and just sitting and providing for myself, but then feeling like there's more.
Yes,
wanting to give
absolutely.
more.
That's that feeling that you're talking about where you are working your 9-to-5, but there's something else, and it's like it keeps you up at night. And I actually just read this quote yesterday, and I reposted it on my Instagram. It said, the life you want is in the life you have now. So what you do on your free time is going to determine your future. And that really sat with me because at that time, you don't know what you're going to do. And it's really a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
So embrace it. I would embrace every minute of it and just keep going, you know, and figuring out. And look at you doing podcasts, and who knows, I feel like when you keep moving, more doors open, more possibilities and opportunities open.
And I'm learning that you have to start doing something to find out what it's going to be.
Yes.
You know, like I have full analysis paralysis, you know, like I'm a perfectionist. So like I'm scared to sometimes start stuff because I want it to be the very best it could be.
Yes.
And I saw that quote you posted about like your 5 to 9 and what you're doing after. Are you watching TV and sitting on the couch, or are you grinding something else? And I was like, frick.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I'm
attack.
watching TV.
I feel attacked. Yes.
Yeah, I feel attacked. That was personal. She knew she was coming on my show. No, but I think there are a lot of women, and I'll say women, but really a lot of people here in Hawaii, and even in America, who feel like bogged down to where they're at. You know, like I think infrastructurally, America makes it really hard to jump the ladder financially, right? To like go from in the mule of 9-to-5ing to like become an entrepreneur and to actually go out there. What was something that you really learned that you never stopped doing in that season, like making that jump?
Something I learned. I mean, something I learned in the season of when I first started.
Yeah, like things that you had to kind of start doing to get to this point, or get to that first store opening that like is now.
I tell a lot of people this when they ask, how do I get started? And I say the same thing. I said, just every day you work on that project, every single day, just give it 10 minutes. And that's what actually I did. And that was my blueprint, was every day I would come home from my job, and I would work on my logo, my website. Even if it was 10 minutes a day, then 10 minutes turned into 1 hour. 1 hour turned into, you know, going to the coffee shop and opening my laptop and researching. And I literally get chicken skin because I literally was that all in, where everything I was doing was for this brand that I didn't know was going to end up where we are today. So I'd say that when you get off your 9 to 5, just work on it little by little every single day. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you're working towards it, something I feel like opportunities and doors just open.
I love that one because it's something I need to hear too. I have like such bad ADHD, right, too, which is not, I don't blame all of my stuff on that. Yeah. But for me, I find that it's hard to just start, just the small things a day. I'm going to start doing that for sure. I love that. My cousin was just telling me about habit stacking. You ever heard of that?
No.
So it's basically like I'm going to say when I'm doing my coffee, I'm going to do 10 squats.
Okay.
Or when I am on my way home from work, I'm going to listen to a podcast I really admire, like something like that. Something that's already in your routine and you're adding to it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's an easy place to start.
Yeah, maybe just one habit stack a day I can do.
Yeah, not many. Like let's just start with one.
Just one.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's so inspiring and cool to hear. Because, we're 9 years out now. Because I feel like we're on this journey.
Yes, we are. We are, sis. We are.
9 years out. And you've gained so much success in your business. Personally, it looks like on social media, and I cheer you on. Like,
thank you.
I'm gonna, this is something for everybody. This will always be a place of encouragement. This podcast, this room, anything from my heart, no matter what happens, like we can love and encourage people through stuff. Yeah. So that is the core of it all, right? So I'm always gonna hype up people who have accomplished so much, but, and all that being said, you've gotten so much hate recently, kind of out of nowhere, right? And it's just everything you see. And I want to say, you've made something out of nothing, and I think it's easy for people to forget that we're all just trying to make something for ourselves, whether there's mistakes made or not, because I'm not saying there are, but I just want to tell you to your face that I see you doing your thing. You're just trying to make it happen, and you are making a lot happen. And I saw one of your videos saying that you you're a mom and a wife. Yeah. You're trying to run your house, let alone have this business. Yeah. And the things that really matter to you is are my kids good? Is my husband good? Is my household running?
I think that's in the end the journey, and that's all that matters to me at the end, is making sure my house is good, my marriage is good, my family is good. And no matter what anybody says, it's a long, tough journey. And when we talk about haters, we just talked about when I first began. And even back then, I like to keep saying that word haters, but I had people, even it was friends, who just didn't believe in me. And from the beginning, I grew up in this era of social media. I've had thousands of followers from Instagram first began. I was a face of Farmers Market Hawaiʻi. So with that came a lot of eyes on me and attention. And when I was going to leave the company, there was a lot of backlash, because from when you leave a clothing company to start your own clothing company, maybe it doesn't sit well, right? And maybe I didn't do it right at first. But even back then, there were people telling me you weren't going to do it. Even my people I loved, people that I trusted, and my own friends, So even back then, I think, and now we're in a different season, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. Yeah.
I have the thinnest, softest skin. Yeah. Not literally, I like to say it. Yeah. But I mean, I'm learning to have more of tough skin. Especially after Miss Hawaiʻi.
Yes, I can't even imagine.
And the craziest thing is a lot of it happens on social media. Yeah. And not as much happens to your face, but everybody has an idea. And I say this a lot, but everybody has an idea of who Miss Hawaiʻi is supposed to be.
I do too.
Right? We all do. Yeah. And I did beforehand. Yeah. And I think in a similar way, everybody has an idea of what they think women business owners in Hawaii are supposed to look like, how they're supposed to move. Yeah. But unless they're doing it, it's I think it's kind of hard to point the finger at somebody that you don't know the inner workings of. Right. But all that to be said, kind of a random tangent. I'll do that a lot, as you'll find out. But do you find that there's really a difference between genuine feedback on social media versus just hate?
I think there's a big difference between it. And when we talk about online, I mean, customer feedback, right? Honest feedback. I feel like it comes from a very pono place, and it comes from a place of being very open, and us having a conversation like this. We can, judge Miss Hawaiʻi and judge Lexbreezy all we want, but as long as we're doing it with respect, I believe, and good intention, and there's no negativity involved. I believe that that's great customer service. I mean, great customer feedback and online feedback. And I feel like as a brand, we need that, and we're open to it. And like you said, having tough skin. And I can have tough skin as much as I try. And then there is the online hate that I feel like it's disrespectful. And I'm just not going to stand for it, And it's when people are attacking you personally, your lifestyle, your family. I got my first death threat.
No way.
And stuff like that. Like, I'm a mom. I'm just like anybody else. So stuff like that, I think there is a big difference. Like, are you attacking my brand or are you attacking me personally? Yeah. Because I just don't feel like there's a space, and it's negative, and what you say and how you say it is going to be with you for the rest of your life. So
yeah. How do you, I mean, I can't even comprehend how people take things so personally, to the point where they're wishing death on somebody else. Like, I don't know. What do you even think is going through their mind?
I've actually sat and I've thought about this. And I said, because I want to come from a place where I want to understand what your feedback is, and as a boss, that's important for me. So where can I do better? And I've actually sat with this and I said, who is on the other side of this? There's this empath in me, and it's so crazy that I feel like I want to help them. And I feel sad that there is somebody out there that wishes that upon anybody, and I feel like I want to help them because it's not a good place to be. And I feel like mental health is a big thing. And when I was going through all that TikTok scrutiny, I thought about the other person on the other end. And I'm like, I don't wish that for anybody, because not only are people attacking me, they're probably attacking the other person on the opposite side. And for me, I have such a great support system. I have a very good husband who backs me up no matter what, picks me up from the ground. And I hope that they have that too, and I know a lot of people don't have that. So it makes me really sad.
And it is, because I really believe that hurt people, and to spew such ugly things out of your mouth or with your fingertips. Yes. Something must, like, 1,000 times worse be on the inside.
And I feel like there's not a place for us to go and channel that, and that's really the root of it. It's like, why are we so upset and angry? And like, we're on the same team, we're living in Hawaiʻi together, and we should be taking care of one another and each other. So to me, that's a hard place to be. And I wish that everybody that is on the opposite side, I hope they can just find peace and the Lord and strength, because in the end of the day, we're all just trying to make it.
Right. Because there's a difference between having something to say about something and then making it a personal mission to, like, make sure that your negativity is heard rather than just giving feedback. How do you, if you can, balance that? Like, do you have boundaries with yourself with social media? Because it's a place where so much praise can come and so much criticism. Yep. It can help the brand. It can tear it down. Yep. Like, what are your thoughts on having balance with social media, personally, professionally, that kind of thing?
For me, I think it's just so hard. And I think the lines are so blurred when it comes to us and me personally, because, like, I'm not just a business owner or a CEO. Like, I'm a fashion designer.
Go, girl.
And then next day I'm a local celebrity, and then I'm a leader, and then I'm, doing podcasts, and then I'm a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend. So I wear so many different hats. So it's so hard to balance. And people tell me, don't take it personal. And I'm like, it's personal for me because I built Lexbreezy from the ground up through social media and through my following. So I feel like so many people have watched me through my journey, and my life is always on social media. But in the end, I don't want to complain about it because this is exactly what I signed up for. And either I'm going to figure it out, or I'm going to have to stop complaining about it. Like, stop bitching about it, Alexis, because you signed up for this.
You mentioned your husband earlier about how he's your support, you know, and I can you talk a little bit about the dynamics, like even how you guys met, how you guys got married, how he proposed? I want to know it all in like the lovey-gushy way.
My husband is literally my number one fan. He is the best. I feel like he is, my parents call him my secret weapon because he's built all our stores. He's a great dad, hands-on, just always just loving me in that way to make me feel seen and heard. And I know it's hard to be married to someone on social media, a social media influencer, a boss lady, but he does it really, really well. And he is literally like my support and my strength. And I feel like if there's anybody I owe my success to, it's going to be my husband, because he's been with me through it all. We just made 11 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And it's been a crazy ride. When I was going through this whole thing, we sit down and talk about it every night, and he listens and he tells, gives me an opinion, but he's always there. So I love him so much.
Now, you love Jesus. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
And I've been raised by a single mom who was a boss. She owned her own business too. She was a makeup artist.
Wow.
But she's a tough cookie, and I've been raised very much in the way to I get stuff done. Like I give boss energy, right? Yes. And then when I think about what does God really call me to be, at least in relationship, because I have fallen into many relationship in which I become mommy, which is not my goal. Yes. And so I'm learning how to submit, non-Christian people, they're going to always say something about submission is blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
I'm not talking to you. Yeah. Don't listen. Skip over this part. Okay. Because I don't even want to hear it. But I want to learn how to be more submissive to the Lord, but also what that looks like in my demeanor in a relationship or in a future marriage. Because I know that my energy I give off can be masculine, Yeah. And I'm just curious about how you navigate that, what you think about it, if it at all plays a role in your relationship.
I feel like I've been like that from the beginning, and I feel like it's something I totally need to work on and pray about, because at the end of the day, my husband will be like, you know who you're talking to, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah.
But just giving that respect that they deserve, but at the same time, it has to be reciprocal, and I think that was what comes down to it, is that we love, respect each other, and we treat each other the way, we both want to be treated.
And also you have babies.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
How did that change how you were moving in business? Because they came later after you had started Lexbreezy, right?
They came, I think, in the middle of it all.
Wow.
Literally during COVID, right when I opened up my first store. And then I was pregnant. When I opened up my first store, I was already pregnant with my second one.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Crazy, wild. They tell you that you're not, I've had actually somebody tell me through Instagram, somebody I actually respected told me that I'm not going to be able to raise a family and raise a business. It was around that lines. And then I gave birth, and I was back in work the next week with my baby, with my Lavaya, sewing in a super sketch building in Kalihi, bringing him to work every day. But it just lights a fire under you, because no matter what, as entrepreneurs, you're gonna have to get it done no matter what. If you have a baby on your hip, if you don't have kids at all, if you have an older one, a smaller one, it doesn't matter. You always push through and you always figure it out. That's just the life of an entrepreneur. And I'm an entrepreneur mom, so.
I imagine that your motivation ebbs and flows, right? As all things do. What pushes you through when you're feeling like, I don't know if I can keep doing this at this pace?
Good question. I believe in a lot of self-love and just taking care of yourself, because I feel like we are in that hustle culture, boss lady culture, always doing things. And I've learned this in the past couple of years. And this is one of the most important lessons I think I'm going to learn in my career, is that I have to take care of myself. I have to put on my mask first before we put on everybody else's. And you really have to love yourself. And I think especially in this season that I'm in now, how important it is to just love yourself and take care of yourself, because there's going to be the enemy coming in. There's going to be haters. There's going to be everybody else in the world trying to come and destroy you. But if you love yourself enough, it doesn't even matter, so.
I love that. What does that look like for you tangibly? Like, is there things in your routine? Is it a heart posture? Is it affirmation? Like, how does that actualize?
Recently, it's been getting to the gym, working on my mental health, taking a break. I just did a social media detox this past weekend. First time in 9 years.
Wow.
Yes, right? That took too long. And just taking care of myself, doing things that make me happy. I take trips away from my kids, mom and dad time, and just continuing to do things that make me feel good and make me happy, taking care of myself and just loving myself, I think is really important.
So good. I get like stuck in the rat race, just go.
And that's the thing I think is like, another lesson I learned is like, we have to enjoy it. Like, why are we working so hard to enjoy it when we're going to retire? We don't even know if we're going to be around. So I want to enjoy it as much as I can with the people I love, that's with me now, and just be present and really, just really be present in that.
I wasn't going to ask you about this, but I have this question in my mind. I'm curious about your relationship with money. And to give context, like, some people think that you need to make it to keep it and save it, and for your kids, or like for the old folks home, whatever it is. And some people think, we have all of this to use it and to provide and to have fun and all those things. And then going from, I'm sure you're making more money than you used to make at the other company, right? Like, how has that affected your relationship with it? And like, kind of what are your thoughts on it?
Good question. I feel like money is, I don't really think about it as much as I should. Because for me, when you grow up with nothing, you don't have nothing, So for me, it's like always constantly hustling. And for us, when it comes to business, like, we don't just make so much money and stop. It's always coming in and coming out. And maybe there's this idea that we have all this money, but you actually don't. It's actually sitting in the warehouse on racks ready to sell. So for me, and in the end of the day, like, you got to take time for yourself. And I think I don't have a great relationship with money because I was never taught it. And I still struggle with it, still struggle with saving. But then there's social media telling me don't save, put it in that. Oh, wait, now you need a 401k. Now I need life insurance. Wait, I need a trust and a will. And I'm just like, okay, now you lost me. So I feel like in the end of the day, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. I feel like kids, because I didn't come from anything too.
Yeah.
And I've had moments of big money influx and then not as much. And I'm like, man, I don't really... I'm just doing my best out here. Like,
exactly.
Saving, I don't know. Okay, I'm trying.
Yeah, and we're just working the system,
Yeah.
So.
My dream has always been to like be knowledgeable enough to like commit like legal tax
That's
fraud.
actually a very, very, very good idea.
Because people like business owners, they're like, oh yeah, this with the tax and this, and now the car belongs to the business and it's a loan out. And I'm like, what are you talking
I have
about?
my dad is very good with his money, and he's very Chang, I would like to say. And I would like to be on his level, but I'm like not Chang at all.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll come in our older years,
yes.
right? Yeah, no. I'll show you
I
how to
will
spend
spend
money.
the money to hire people for them to help me more. And like my dad, he's going to kill me for this. He will do it himself. And I'm like, Dad, you need help. Like, you can't do everything yourself.
Like fixing stuff around the house?
Just in business, because my dad runs Simply Sisters, right? So he'll pay somebody. He'll be building the booth. I'm like, we need to hire somebody to bring everything in, to build the booth, Dad. Yeah. It's okay.
Hire the professional.
Yes,
we
exactly.
Can handle. I love that. Yeah. Transitioning a little and kind of talking more about Lexbreezy. Your mission, I'm just going to read it to come back to it, is to forge connection between culture, people, and a spirit of aloha. And I love that. You know, mission statements are always ooey gooey and fun. But as a business owner, like every single ounce of Lexbreezy was breathed into by you and your people, you know. So I know that this mission statement isn't just some like a couple of words, you know, to put on a website, but it means everything to you, like what you want to build. And so I guess my question is like, well, one, how do you foster aloha in the workplace? And then how does that translate to like being a boss, you know?
In the workplace, I think it's very hard because we all have different personalities, but I look at it like raising my kids, you know, like we have to be the example. So how do I make sure my kids show aloha and my kids do well? Like I have to be the perfect example of it. And at Lexbreezy, I would like to say we pride ourselves on customer service because we sell Aloha Wear. Like how are we not going to have Aloha and we sell Aloha Wear?
Yeah.
And that's all I really want for my business is that like people to know who we are behind our brand. And when you come into our stores, you feel the aloha, you know, like that's been our mission from the very beginning was to inspire generations to want to wear Aloha Wear. And that goes all the way back into me starting my brand. My mom used to make clothing that Aloha Wear that I didn't really want to wear. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make Aloha Wear that I would like to wear. And fashion, there's so much possibilities. You know, it doesn't have to be this one Aloha shirt and that's just fashion, you know, so.
Right. The rain spooner.
Yes.
the thing you get your uncle every Christmas.
Yes,
like,
yes. It's so much, it's fashion. It's like, it's amazing the things that we can do now.
Yes. I've been like getting really excited. I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but I never really wore Aloha Wear growing up. You know, like me and my mom had
I'm going to change that.
No, and I'm like, take off what you're wearing with me right now. I want to change. I would take like some manuhea stuff. Like we had one matching set, you know, and like we wore it to like a funeral. But it just wasn't my vibe. I always like loved more like mainland fashion or like high fashion. I don't know.
I think different era. We're in the different generation, like millennials.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah.
But as I become an adult, especially after Miss Hawaiʻi, I was kind of like, oh my God. Okay, we had to take a break because there was beeping outside. But since then, I've changed into my very own Lexbreezy.
Yeah, I'm going to change her mind about Aloha Wear.
Yes. No, I'm like, okay, yes. I'm like going to pick it out. I'm even looking at, I love it. I love it. I think I never wore Aloha Wear because my mom wasn't really that way. My mom was Portuguese Polish. My dad was Hawaiian. I went to Punahou. Like I wasn't like immersed or exposed, I think, in an everyday way to
I don't think even
fashion.
me, like growing up, it wasn't where we were wearing it every day. And that's what I feel like brings so much value into our brand. It's like, and that's one thing I love about Lexbreezy is that we're part of your first baby luau, we're part of your wedding, we're part of your graduation photos. So there's like so much moments that we as a Lexbreezy get to be part of in your life and milestones.
Yeah. It's special because like when there was just like what, like Manaola and Manuheli'i. That was like the things you wore to like special events. Right?
Manuheli'i is legacy, Auntie Zanine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's the dream is to, you know, and that's the legacy I hope to become is like Auntie Zanine.
That's so beautiful. I hadn't really thought about that. Like you're right. Like you're a
legacy,
part of the legacy. And that was something that I wanted to ask you too. Like what is your hope? Like, what kind of legacy do you want to leave with Lexbreezy?
Oh, that's a very hard question. I think from the top of my head, the legacy that I want to leave is, I hope that anybody watching, anybody that lives in Hawaii now, that was born and raised here, that we have all the talent here and we have so many resources now that we can continue to thrive here and stay here. And I hope that somebody can look at my story and say, you know what, I can do exactly what Lexi did, maybe better, maybe on a smaller scale, but I can do something that will help me to continue to live where I belong and live in Hawaii. I don't know, maybe that's my legacy.
I love that.
Because I think for me, it's like, we all have to move away, and that always makes me so sad. And I'm so fortunate to continue to live here, raise my family here, and to thrive here. So I think that's in the end, that's all I would want for everybody else and all the Hawaiians and all everybody that lives in Hawaii not having to move away.
It's a beautiful sentiment. And it's true. Like, it's not fair that everyone has to move to the desert.
Yeah.
And, I am a Portuguese, so I'm like, but the land is alive here. Why are we moving to dead land?
Yeah, we live in the most beautiful place. I just was at the fashion program today, and I got to see all the HCC's fashion program seniors collection.
Oh, wow.
And I talk about talent. These students is probably going to do big things in New York City, and they're going to really make a name for themselves. Like, I was blown away by one of the students' collections today. I was like, wow. And it's not Aloha Wear, it's like next level couture. Wow. They're sewing right here at HCC, and it was very inspiring to see. But we have so much talent here.
And then speaking of that, education, you started a scholarship fund.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, first off, because we just was talking about this, I was awarded the Manuheli'i scholarship when I was in fashion program, and that really inspired me to create my own scholarship. So we have a scholarship with Honolulu Community College and the UH Foundation, and we give back $10,000 a year to students of Native Hawaiian preference, to students enrolled in fashion technology and in cosmetology.
Oh.
Every year. Yeah, and it's getting, it's growing. So
yeah, so awesome. And it's like a lot of people like to say that you don't like to give back, like to dive into the TikTok.
Yeah,
land, right? Everybody's talking about you only use your money for yourself and all this stuff. And also I saw that you raised and gave over $100,000 to the Maui wildfires.
Hawaii, during the Maui fires. Yes, we did.
Which is great. Like, and I'm like looking at all the facts, like, okay, like it's not really adding up to what everybody's saying on TikTok. But to dive into that, there, I think, not only here in Hawaii, but as social media has grown, there's been a desire for more transparency, specifically.
Yes, I love that.
In concept, like from concept to product, and in manufacturing, with a emphasis on like the ethical boundaries, right? How do you make sure that what you're manufacturing is like up to the standards that you want to have? Because in China, like people say when you make stuff in China, there's no way to like quality control, so how did that all start with manufacturing there, and how are you involved?
Good question. All of that, well, we began manufacturing in Hawaii. I started Lexbreezy in Hawaii. We're a cut and sew women's wear company. We cut and sew here. We printed here. Everything was done here. And then I got the opportunity to go to Bali, and then my eyes just wait, what? The opportunities, the resources, the possibilities of fashion you could never even imagine.
Wow.
So I went from here in Hawaii to Bali, and my dream was to start a swimwear line. It was what everybody was doing back then. I mean, the dream of having a swimwear company, everybody was manufacturing in Bali. My parents were manufacturing in Bali. We made really good connections there. And then COVID, and then I went back to fashion school. And then when I went back to fashion school, you learn everything in fashion, and you really evolve as a designer, I feel like. And then COVID hit, and our factory in Bali shut down, and our factory here shut down. And then we pretty much had to figure out what we were going to do. And for that, we were going to go overseas. And I think I've evolved so much as a designer, and I think I forget that sometimes. Like, I'm actually a fashion designer. I don't want to do the business stuff, and I get caught up in the business stuff because it's like not just selling for us. It's actually designing and making collections. But people don't want to talk about it, and I've actually visited our factory last year, and the amount of criticism I got from visiting our factory was insane. Whoa. People were, I think there's this like white elephant in the room, right? People don't want to talk about it, but they know that everything is made in China.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Everything is made in China.
Right.
And personally, as a brand who started in Hawaii, I can't meet the demand. We don't have the resources. We don't have the seamstresses. We don't have the talent. Like in China, it was such an eye-opener for me to see our factory. It's so clean. They run so efficient. They are able to create collections that I'm not able to create here. So it comes down to like, it's so complicated. There's so much factors when I'm designing a collection. It's not that I'm just printing on a t-shirt. No offense to people that print on t-shirts, but I'm not just printing on a t-shirt. I'm actually creating a print, putting that on clothing, cutting and sewing. And so there's so much factors in that. And for me, I can do all of that. I can do whatever I want in China. I can create any collections. I can make blazers. I can make jumpers, and we can work with elastic, and we can do different types of printing and sewing. And I did a bridal collection that was made in China, and I can't do that here.
Yeah.
So it's just like with our growth and with where I want to be as a designer, we're evolving, and it's time for me to evolve. And I don't want to just do an Aloha shirt. You know, there's more. I'm a women's wear designer. I'm working with different fabrics, different styles. So there's just so much possibilities. I feel like I was just stuck here. And the mentality of being made in Hawaii, which is amazing to do. And if you can do that, please do it. But where with my goals and my mission, it just wasn't feasible.
It's like, sounds like a candy store, kid in a candy store there. Like when all of the ideas that you could ever have as a designer is now actually, you're actually capable of making it into a tangible product.
Yes. And so we're limited here, you know, and that's the honest truth, you know, and we talk about transparency, like we're very limited here. We have no resources. Everything has to be flown on a plane, which actually comes from China. My factories here are China. People from China work in those factories, but people don't want to talk about that, you know. And I think there's this dark cloud about made in China, which is true. But I go to my factories. I'm actually heading back to my factory next week in China, and I'm going to work on whatever we're going to improve. We are creating new collections, and I'm just touching base with them, with the tariffs, with everything. And I have such a great relationship with my factories. And I think people, they just don't have the balls to say they make their stuff in China. And I have the balls, big balls. And I say I love producing in China. Like, it helps me become a better designer in the end of the day. And I'm able to evolve.
I love that. You're so funny. You know, I speak Chinese. You know, translator next week.
I do.
Oh, okay, I'll come.
Yeah.
You mentioned tariffs. I was going to ask you about that because it was happening. Now it's not happening. Did you know what that was going to look like maybe if that happened?
Okay, so I'm just as confused as everybody else. To be honest, I have no idea. It's so crazy and so wild, but it's actually the perfect time for me to take a step back with all that TikTok stuff. So I'm taking a step back. I'm going straight to the source. We are figuring it out. And I just talked to my husband about this last night. It's like, it's the same feeling about what happened with COVID. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to shut down our factories. We're sending everybody home. We're not going to make collections. People in China are not working. So I think the best thing we have to do is just sit still, relax, and like push through, because no matter what, we still are going to have to pay whatever tariffs, whatever tax. It doesn't matter. So are we going to stop our business? Are we going to close it down because of tariffs? We just got to figure it out and just push through.
Yeah, we're doing great. You're doing it. Yeah. And it's almost kind of nice that we have the experience of COVID because that was such a panicking time.
I think that's the word, panic. And I'm like, I'm not panicking. I'm chilling. I want to take a step back. So.
Right. A lot of people still talking about like manufacturing and then the prices of your brand. But I don't know if this is related. It seemed like it, that you started Kamina Days for people with 40% off.
Yeah.
And then you're actually going to do that every month.
Yes. I actually am so excited for it. I don't know why we haven't thought about it sooner. Like, and that's the type of online feedback I love, because it makes me happy to do it, and it comes from a good pono place, you know. Like, I have customers that are saying, you know what, you don't even do Kamina Days, and I'm like, exactly right. Why aren't we doing Kamina Days? Like, I'm a kama'aina, you know? So I think that was really, really nice for me to take a step back and listen to my customers who love Lexbreezy, who's coming from a very pono place and saying, hey, I can't afford it all the time. Like, do a kama'aina discount. And I'm like, yes, bet, let's do it. Let's run it once a month. And we're still like figuring it out. But that was really successful, and I'm just happy that we did it because I just told everybody, just now you can't really say anything.
Yeah, no, my jaw was on the ground when I saw that, because how often do people get feedback or hate and or both and then actually do something about it, you know, and then actually say, oh, it was good. Okay, I'm going to do that every single month. Yeah. Which just to me, I went to business school. Like, I know the profit margins, like on average, right? And like, I don't see any other brand locally or nationally who are doing those kinds of things. And that's when I thought, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say about you, but nobody else is doing that. Like, that proves that you want to.
I want to put my money where my mouth is.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, like you said, none of you guys can talk anything because
now what, you know? And even my employees were like, what, Lexi, don't do that. I'm like, no, I want to do it. Like, my customers are speaking out, you know, and we have to listen. Like, the customers are our number one reason why we are so successful. So to those customers, thank you, because we would have never known any of this would have happened. And in the end of the day, I think it was really, really beautiful. We're actually working on our next Kama'aina Day, and it's actually super exciting.
Oh my
Like, we're getting ready for Kama'aina Day. We're having like local pop-ups come in the next month, and we're going to be having like food. It's like a party.
I'll be there. Let's go.
So it's actually so much fun, and it just, whatever happened, like, I think it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, wow. And what a way to just pivot all of the negativity and pivot it and make it into something beautiful that I think will only embrace or elevate your
And then
brand.
even other companies are writing to me like, damn it, Lexi, now we gotta do Kama'aina Day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sorry.
I'm like, yeah, you guys should do Kama'aina Day too, you know? So and we run sales all the time, but for some reason I put that word Kama'aina, or for some reason it was on TikTok that it just blew, like, sales just went up for some reason, because we run actually really good sales often. We have calamai sales where things are under $50. Like, we run sales really, really often. Even my business manager said stop doing that. But for some reason with the kama'aina and then TikTok, it ended up being very successful.
Yeah, I love that. And in that same vein, do you feel like local business owners have a responsibility to give back? Maybe not in a sale, but like to really invest back in the community?
I think, well, I can't speak for all business owners, because I know that for me personally, when we first started, it really wasn't on our agenda, you know, like, it took years for us to create our give back program. And I want to say that I was able to figure out our give back program by working with Mana Up and Melly James. So that really, you know, lit a fire under me, and was like, all these successful business owners, all these successful CEOs, that's all they do all day. They only are giving back. They're not doing any work. They're speaking in schools. They're working on nonprofits. Like, that's the goal, is to give back every day, whether I'm speaking at schools, doing podcasts. You know, I think that, to me, really, really, I'm really always inspired by. And that's what happened, was like years later, I was able to start a give back program. So it might not happen all like right away, but just give back your time, give back when you can, because it actually fills your cup. Like, I'd rather be doing all of this than cutting, sewing, and, you know, doing the fashion design and stuff. Like, this is like so, like, it just fills my cup when you give back, and it means more.
So beautiful. I love that. Okay, I really want to know, this is the big question, okay? I want to know your favorite collection that you've ever put out.
My favorite collection. Oh my goodness, we do collections every month.
I know, there's 1,000 million of them.
The favorite collection, my favorite collection, I'd say, would have to be, this is probably an ordinary answer, is my first collection that I did at Mary Monarch. For a few reasons. It was the launch of Lexbreezy, and then it was actually my husband James who did that print.
No way.
Yeah. So to me, it's more of like the print that probably means the most to me. That's our very first print, and that was my husband's print.
I love that. I love that. Can you talk a little bit about, like, because you said he made that print. What is the process for you, like concept to making the product?
Oh my goodness. Concept to making the product. I guess, like, for instance, we just finished Mary Monarch. So really, when I'm getting ready to design a collection and put a collection together, it's like what's happening around that time. So for instance, I'm getting ready for Mary Monarch and I'm going to design a collection around Mary Monarch. Around Mary Monarch, we're celebrating 9 years. We have a store opening and it's Mary Monarch season. So from there, we're working with different local artists to create our prints. And then I'm personally working on all the styles. We're looking at what does really, really well, our best sellers. And then we're going to add in maybe a couple different styles. We did like a Miss Aloha Hula collection this year, which was really fun. So just a little bit more elegant styles to wear to the Mary Monarch. And then like with that, after that, it's kind of like our branding and the message we want to portray for Mary Monarch, because we have so much competition. Everybody brings the best of the best. This is Mary Monarch. Like it's Mary Monarch week, the most fashionable week in Hawaii. So we want to bring the best, you know. So really what the story we want to tell through our branding and our messaging. And this year was really fun because we did our photo shoot at Peggy's, which is super iconic for Mary Monarch. That's where everybody goes and watches the event and we just celebrate. So that was a concept behind that. And then from there, we're working with photographers, videographers, and getting it on social media. And then after all of that is done, we're moving into fulfillment and organizing. And this year it was so crazy because we opened up a permanent storefront in the middle of Mary Monarch week. I was running a marathon. It was so crazy. I had a soft opening, a grand opening, and then we were straight into Mary Monarch week, which we were busy every single day. And then after all of that, that's when somebody can go and buy, you know, a product of Lexbreezy. So the concept to the actual final product is insane. It's a very long process, and it's not just like, I feel like I do 10% designing and I'm doing 90% business. And I want to just do 90% designing, you know? So
did you say you put out a new collection every month?
Yeah, we try to put out a new collection every month.
How's that possible?
It's not. We really just, for us, we have the same customer. And I learned this working with Mana Up as well, was for us, we have the same customer. So I can't have the same product in my store 365 days of the year. It has to be new. It has to be fresh. And it makes me hustle. It makes me want to, you know, design more and do more because there is a demand for it. And for us, it's been working. So
I had Lala on the podcast before.
I love Lala.
Yep.
She plays a very big role in our team, and just that whole branding, marketing is a whole nother situation. Takes a lot of work, and shout out to the models, the photographers, the videographers. We have a whole social media team. It's a lot that people don't really realize.
Yeah. I can't even imagine, honestly. But she'd said something that was interesting, that fashion's not really original. You know, like everything is getting remade. Like, and there are people's like designs, that kind of thing. But what do you think about that? Like, do you ever hit a wall, like trying to put out new things, new looks, new cuts, new fabric?
Yes, all the time. And I think that's my problem personally, is that I'm having to find inspiration and then I'm stuck half the time. And so I continue just put out the same styles, you know, and then for me, it's like I have to evolve, you know. So what more can we do? And so after that whole TikTok thing, I feel like it's giving me a push to evolve as a designer. Like, what more out there can we possibly do? Because what we're doing now, it's okay and it'll last, but fashion, there's so much possibilities in fashion. Like, we don't want to just keep doing the same thing in the same print and the same style. We do keep it around because those are our best sellers, you know, but there's more. We did a streetwear collection last Black Friday. We just relaunched Lexbreezy Beauty. Just keep it fun, and like that's all I want to do is just be fun in fashion. You know, there's possibilities and just have fun with it.
What is something that is like in the creative process super ono to you? You know, like for example, this, like the talking in the podcast is like my bread and butter. I love it just to talk. But I get ono about Canva and like making my, you know, my
marketing,
logos, my marketing stuff, like making the material. What part of the process for you was like, oh, I love this?
I love the marketing. I think I'm very good at it. I love coming up with the ideas. Like the Kamina deal, that was my idea. The Peggy's idea was my idea. So I feel like I'm really good at marketing and putting my brand out there, and my life, obviously. But I think that is seeing the attention we get on social media through it, because it's different, it's fun, and I think that's the fun part.
What are you excited to make this year?
We're super excited because we have a lot of collaborations in the works. We just finished our collaboration with Active by Teal, which we sold out. So good. I love Teal, love working with her. And this year we're focusing on collaborations. And again, back to this whole TikTok thing, I've learned that like I want to be collaborating with these small businesses, and not big businesses that, are big Aloha Wear companies. Like I want to collaborate with the small guys. Like I want to really take care of them, and I really want to connect with them on that level. So we're working with a lot of small businesses collaborations this year, and like they're going to be able to be put on the Lexbreezy stage and get all our following. So I think it's going to be really, really good in the end that we collaborate. So we're working on a lot of collaborations this year.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. Yeah. Small business collaboration. How about small podcasts?
Yes, always.
I love that. Man, what is something that you do to really like wind down? Are you like a doom scroller, or like do you like to like spa it up? Like just scroll on your TikTok, or do you like
definitely not? I deleted TikTok.
Yeah, it's like some people like baths.
Yeah.
I don't know what is something that really just calms you down.
A vacation.
Boom.
Yeah, vacation. My life is crazy from the time I wake up in the morning. I'm doing mom things all day from the time I fall asleep. So I don't really have time to myself. So I think vacations is good. Vacations away from my kids. Yeah. That's all I want to do is just relax, So yeah, I don't really have a time of the day where I'm just like doing nothing. So I think that self-care is super important, and I have to work on that.
We all do.
Yeah.
I was totally stalking you, and I saw all those videos and pictures you took when you went skiing or snowboarding. Yes, yeah. Oh my God, it was living for your outfits. I was like, this is just, it's everything
so
about that
fun.
Was
so fun. So fun. We love snowboarding. We love skiing. We love vacationing.
Yeah.
And we gotta enjoy it. That's really the being ono for it is just enjoying the journey, because I think we get so caught up. And a lot of times like it's always like I'm gonna put it off. And now like I have bigger things to think about, and it's my kids. And I've always heard that story where it's like your kids are only, you only have 18 summers, and that really stuck with me. Only 18 summers, only 18 spring breaks. So I want to enjoy my kids. They're only young for so long, and it's a lot of work, but I think that makes me the most happy, is just being with my family.
That's so awesome. You guys go to Kid City?
I hate that place.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I lose my kids. My kids don't listen. It's just a whole thing. So we don't go there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That also makes me like, I take my nephew.
And then me and my husband is fighting because we lost the kids. Yeah. So it's like a whole thing. But shout out to Kid City. You guys are doing a great job for all the kids. But no.
Yeah, like they love it too much.
Yeah, they love it too much.
Did you have to make it so good?
Yeah.
There's like, I went with my nephew. He's 4 years old. And there's like a zip line. One. Yeah. And he was just like, again and again and again, and climbing stuff, and they're falling down, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like, it makes my brain hurt even thinking of that word, because my kids always want to go. We have one in Kailua. It's a smaller version. When every time we pass, they're like, can I go? And I'm like, no. Yeah. Get that out of your head.
Yeah. My mom used to be so like anti that kind of stuff, which is why I like love Dave & Buster's. It's like where I can be like a kid, right? Yeah. But one day I remember, I don't know why this came to my mind, we pulled into McCully Shopping Center, and there was a Fun Factory at the time. No, McKinley Shopping, something like that. And she looked at me and she goes, you have $10. We can go to Fun Factory. And that was like this big, exciting thing. Like, wow, mom's letting me go to Fun Factory. Yeah. But now it's like intense iPad games, and like they're so dexterous. Like, kids are really blowing my mind.
They're too smart.
Too smart. Because we kind of grew up in like half. Well, how old are you? You're older. Are you older?
30. I think I'm 30, 31 or 32. I think I'm 32.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 27. I unfortunately know exactly how old I am. Yeah. But, I kind of didn't grow up in iPad land. I was like in eighth grade when the first one came out. I stood in line. I was like so excited for it because I'm like such a tech nerd. But now it's like, I'm kind of nervous for the kids that have been growing up in social media and like how it affects their minds.
Oh my God. It's affecting adults' minds.
Right, right. And we see studies now that it's literally changing the chemistry of our minds so that it's lowering our attention span. And like people are actually like pivoting, even in film industry. Like you see all this like
AI and
even like an emergence of like these short vertical things, you know, like those little short things.
Clips.
The clips, yeah, and like movies in the clips. And it's like, man, like we can't even sit down and just like watch an hour and a half movie anymore.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that the technology and social media will like somehow affect like fashion?
Good question. Yes, I think it's already affecting fashion. You know, it's already AI. I'm not too familiar with all of that tech stuff, but it's affecting, I feel like, adults. You know, social media is it's a very dark place. When I really thought about it, like there's so many people saying whatever they want, and it's not okay. Like it's not okay to say that. It's not okay to act like that. And people are like, it's my opinion, but I'm like, I don't know if that's okay to say certain things, you know. But social media is a very dark place, and that's why I loved doing that detox that I did, the social media detox, because I literally was getting anxiety about it. Like I would wake up and want to be on my phone, and it was not healthy at all. And I told my husband, I said, my husband, he don't know what's happening half the time. But I'm crying to him. I said, you know, all this is happening and this and that. And he was like, why do you even have TikTok? And I'm like, I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah. He's like, why do you even need that? I'm like, I don't know, because that's what we're all supposed to be doing, you know? So he was like, just delete it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, smart.
Yeah, you're right. That's all I had to do is just delete it and not see it, and okay, problem solved, right? Easy for my husband to say. But yeah, it's you gotta just, I don't know. It's a very dark place. It can be very happy and positive, but in the end I think that it's kind of scary.
Sometimes I feel like I just want to turn off social media.
Yes.
But then I have this fear of like trying to balance getting my podcast out there and like having to post
That's
consistently.
the problem.
Right.
Is that's my excuse. Is for so long I'm like, but this is my job. Right. When I'm on the phone, I'm like telling my husband, I'm working, you know, like working. And I think that's just the excuse that we use. Yeah. But in the end, I feel like your mental health needs a break, because it's so toxic and it's not okay, and it makes you not happy, and it's very draining sitting down and, you know, reading comments and even like random things I see. Like I seen on TikTok somebody like eating a pizza, feeding their kid pizza, and then these people have haters about what type of pizza the kids are eating, and I'm like, what?
Makes
like
sense.
I got haters, but this person just feeding their kid a pizza has haters. Like I couldn't even believe. I'm like, this is Generation Z. I do not belong on this app. Yeah. Like, it's no. I better go back to what I was doing on Instagram.
Right.
You know, but yeah.
Do you feel like there's a place, like, how do you have boundaries with that kind of thing? To like still be relevant, posting, but also to take time for yourself?
Ooh,
that's me asking as someone who's trying to build, you know, like, does that mean there will be no balance for a while and then you do it once there's traction?
I don't think there's ever balance. I think it's you just do it, you know, and I've been doing it for so long. I think it just caught up with me. You know, like I've been putting it off for so long, not doing the social media detox. And I look at other people and I'm like, why do you even need to do that? But in the end, it's like your mental health is crying and you want to take a break. And I can't imagine what it's like to be Miss Hawaiʻi. You know, it's a lot and it's all eyes on you. And I feel like for me, that's what is so hard, is all eyes are on me. I have 6 million people. I just seen yesterday, 6 million people viewing my Instagram, and I don't even know who they are. And there's so much pressure, and like, it's a very heavy place. And if I continue to be in that negative headspace, it can just destroy me, you know. And I really had to get out of that, because it's not healthy. It's not okay. Like, I have so much to be thankful for. Like, I have so much blessings. I'm healthy. My kids are healthy. I have a great marriage, and I gotta just focus on that, you know. So I think the negative talk in your head really can really hurt somebody. But if I were you, I would just continue to maybe gotta suck it up a little bit and just push through. And you're building something, you know. So I feel like when someone's building something, gotta get rid of the excuses and say, I gotta do this, you know.
Ah, nuts. Shucks.
Yeah.
No, that's so good. I think that there's always this like rhetoric of, you know, take care of yourself, balance, balance. But I also acknowledge and admit that sometimes I take a little too much time for myself. You know, like I am learning what it means to really give everything.
Yes.
Because I'll give what I thought was everything and it's really not. And like pushing the boundaries of what I'm comfortable. Like, where is my comfort zone? You know, my pastor has talked a lot before about like active rest, you know, like scrolling on your phone and watching TikTok is like vegetabling, you know, you're becoming a vegetable, but it's not refilling your cup to get you where you need to go.
Oh my God. Yes.
So I'm like learning how to.
I feel attacked. Yes.
It's like, how do we active rest so that we can keep going? So I'm still figuring it out, you know, what that looks like. Cause I feel like I can be so on and then all I want is to be so off.
Yes. No, I feel exactly like that too. And I think we all do. And social media makes it so much harder to rest. But I spent, I think, 4 days off social media and it was the best thing. I just did the social media detox. I told my husband, I want to delete Instagram. He's like, really? I'm like, yep, I'm going to be strong.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have TikTok or Instagram, but it was actually so refreshing. And I actually had a lot of time to think and self-reflect and reevaluate. And I think I needed it because it was like a long time coming that I feel like I just was so burnt out. And I'm responding to people who I normally wouldn't. So I think I really, I was just burnt out. I'm tired, exhausted. We had so much going on, but no excuses. I think I really needed that.
Any like fun discoveries that you made?
Fun discoveries of
like internal discoveries?
Internal discoveries, a lot. I feel like I always go back to why I am the way I am. Why do I care what people are saying? Why do I have to continue to defend myself? Why do I let people who have nothing to do with my life matter? And I feel like I keep asking myself and I keep going through the same lesson. I mean, I was doing this lesson 10 years ago and it just continues to keep, you know, being brought up. And then I thought about it and I'm like, maybe it's, I don't know, my childhood. Maybe it's that I've always felt like I wanted to be seen, you know, so I feel like that was a lot for me to, you know, take back and like take accountability and say, hey, whatever's happening, it has to happen. And that's one thing that I actually do is I'll go through whatever problem I have and I'll let it sit for one day. I'll cry about it. I'll do whatever I need to do. Take the day off if you need to. But the next day, we're going to come back swinging. Like we are on fire the next day. So just if you have to take that one day off and that's it. You're not going to give that energy any more time. Just one day, whatever problem situation you have, I always give it one day. And the next day, I'm like ready to rumble.
Boom.
Yeah,
I love that.
One day, that's all you gotta take. Because after one day, it's kind of like, okay, now you're making excuses.
Yeah, because we're in an era too where it's all about the mental health day.
Yeah, yes,
you know, I think balance is good, but like it's all about where you can't help but think how much of this is an excuse.
Yes.
And how much are we just catering to like people's comfort?
Yes. And I literally had that self thought. I'm like, if I'm going through this at 31 years old, social media issues, I can't imagine, and I feel so sad about how it is affecting the keiki and affecting my nieces who are in high school and affecting their brain. And I'm like, I want to open up a mental hospital for social media because this is not okay that we feel like this. It makes you really, it's not a good place. And I can't imagine what it's like for the high schoolers who have to deal with this. And I'm sure there's a lot of cyberbullying happening. And I'm going to work on that next. I'm going to figure it out because I need to check myself into that mental hospital.
Yeah, I'm creating this so that I can use it.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I've admired you from afar. I think
you.
that you're doing just so many amazing things. I can't help but celebrate local girls who are living their dream and also making incredible stuff.
Thank you.
And I'm just really grateful that you came on today.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for sharing space with you. And I want to give you like a minute of something, like if there's anything else that's on your heart that you want to share, that you don't think we got to, messages you want to give. I've got like a few more questions up my sleeve, but I also just wanted to like hear you.
I want to, I guess, touch base because I said that I was going to talk about the transparency was, I think people don't understand the costs and the quality. And when it comes to quality, there's so many different types of fabric. There's so many different types of variables and factors that go into creating something. And it's not just what you see on Alibaba or it's a price, you know, like when we are designing stuff, I'm asking myself as a designer, is it cut on grain? Is the fabric one way? Is it two ways? Does it have a matching pocket? Is it have like, where is the seam landing? So there's all these different variables when it comes to cost. It's not just one cookie cutter cost. And then also after that, it's how am I going to get it here? You know, am I going to put it on the boat? Am I going to put it on the plane? Am I going to get it here quick? How much am I even ordering? Am I ordering 100 pieces? Am I ordering less than 100 pieces? We don't order more than 100 pieces. So if things are very, very small batch, and that's who I've always been as a brand. And I've always wanted to keep things super exclusive. And I feel like there is so much value in that. So when we talk about value and the price, like there's so many different reasons why our item costs is that much. It's not just what it costs to make it. It's how does it get here? It's the taxes, it's the rent that I actually don't even add in to the actual cost. The taxes we pay, it's just a lot of variables that I think people don't realize how much it costs, you know. And then with value, it's that you won't go to a party and you won't find somebody else wearing the same thing. It's how many hours somebody has stood in line, 3-4 hours to buy a Lexbreezy. And then the value of Lexbreezy, you know, who we are as a brand, our mission, our goals. At Mary Monarch, I seen, I think we were at Walmart and I seen, no offense to Walmart, I love Walmart, a $20 Aloha Wear shirt, right? I think it was like $20. And I thought to myself that I wish I could make items that were more affordable. $20, I would buy it at a super cute print. But I'm pretty sure Walmart is ordering 10,000 of that one style shirt just to create demand for their stores. And I thought to myself, like, I can do that. Like, let's make another brand and make super, super affordable Aloha Wear. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that's not my mission. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to be in every Walmart and ABC store or Target. You know, that's not my goal. My goal is to create super small batches of Aloha Wear. So I think there is a consumer for everybody. And that's when it comes down to the price. And then when it comes to the quality, we're working with different fabrics. And I'm just evolving as a designer. And I feel like I've been designing with rayon for so long that maybe it's time for me to start something else because I think I'm so comfortable with rayon and I actually really love to wear it. And I just went back to my fashion program and I talked to my teachers, you know, I'm like, we're having a couple complaints about, you know, the quality. And so we were able to look at different fabrics and stuff like that. So I think just in the end of the day, evolving and improving, and that's all we can do.
Beautifully said. I love that. Man, you knock my breath away. Like, sickening. No. Love. It all sounds exciting. You know, like what you're doing, how you're moving. And I'm so excited to see
Thank you.
What comes out of this.
Yes, because we're excited. I mean, that's why I'm going back to China. I'm like, what fabric can we work with then? Because I'm so comfortable. And I think it's time for us to grow. And I've been stuck maybe for 9 years. I mean, I wouldn't say stuck, but it's so comfortable for us. So now it's time to push boundaries. And now we're going to be working with so much different fabrics, creating new collections, working with different printing technique. We're getting ready for the Made in Hawaii Festival. So we're bringing a lot of our production back here. We're creating new styles. It's a very exciting time because now I'm like ready to rumble.
Yeah, let's go rumble. And I had no idea you don't order more than 100.
Yeah, so it's actually still very, very small. Like you're not going to find 20 people wearing the same size small blazer as you.
Yeah.
Like it's a very small. now that we're adding more stores, you know, there's no perfect number either. And as a designer, that's hard for me because I don't know what's going to do good. I don't know what's going to sell out. And I'm still trying to figure it out because with 4 stores, it's a lot. And then we have our online, and that's actually our 5th store. It's actually our number 1 store is the online. But figuring out, just improving and growing, it's all growing pains, I think, in the end of the day. So I think it's great feedback, and I appreciate it because if I never seen any of it, I would have never known we had people's stuff ripping. Like, I don't want people's stuff to rip. Like, no, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna make it better. And I'm actually, in the end of the day, as corny as it sounds, I'm probably happy that it all happened because it's only gonna make me be a better designer. And that's all I want, is to keep evolving, learning, improving. That's the secret, right? Is to keep going.
So good. I had a question and then I totally forgot it.
I'm gonna drink my wine now.
Drink it, girl. I know. Here, cheers.
Cherry. Thank you so much for having me.
This was probably made in China too. So bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're incredible. I think I just cheer on the moms, like people who are doing it. I have that same thing. We talked about it earlier, that there's something here. I have so much to give.
I think, I'm looking at you, you have it. You have everything it takes. For me as a fashion designer, I would tell you to probably create your own collection, something small. I think find something that you're passionate about. You know, whatever it is, just do it. Your podcast is great, but I think there's more to it. I think you'll find it. As more podcasts you do, more doors open up. So I'm excited for you.
I claim that in the name of Jesus, because I desire to create something tangible. And I've struggled with that too, because I'm creative, but I've always been like, Lord, like, you've made me a communicator. It was clear with Miss Hawaiʻi, and it's clear with the podcast, like, just naturally happens, and I love it. But I do desire something tangible with my name on it, where I get to just dig in and create something new.
And you're Miss Hawaiʻi. Like, what? There's so much power in that alone. And it gives me chicken skin, honestly, because when I meet so many people and I'm like, you're so smart, you're educated, you're beautiful, like, you have everything that it takes to become a super successful entrepreneur in the end of the day, because I'm like, you went to Punahou, what? Like, you're like the next Melly James.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my idol. So
I love her.
Yeah,
I love her.
Me too. I love Melly James. So just inspiring. And I don't know, maybe it's making your own pageant. I don't know, something.
You're inspiring me, girl. Oh my gosh.
We can do it all. You know, we can all do it all. And I think there's so much power in that, and just so much mana in that, in just standing as a woman. And I think that's the hard part too, is like, I'm trying to work through. It's like, we live in a man's world. I don't care what anybody says. Like, as a designer, I'm in a man's world. Like, there's top designers and they're all kane, you know. So for us, it's like we're continuing to fight and stand up, and like, we have to at the end of the day. And my husband always is like, do you have to say that? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm going to stand up and say whatever the hell I want. And people are going to say, you know, maybe you shouldn't have said that. But I'm like, it's different. Like, if somebody else can have an opinion, I can have my own opinion too. Yeah. So we live in a man's world. So we got to keep fighting and pushing boundaries and just making our name very well known.
And I hate that, like, we are held to a different level, like a different standard.
Yes.
Like, men can very often say whatever they want, or, you know, or be very strong in their ways. But then when women do it, sometimes it's just
too
way
much.
More critique, or it's too much, or they're bitching. Or
and we're not humble and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exact problem. And like, I thought about that too. It's like, why do I always feel like I have to stand up? I'm like, because women are taught to sit down, look nice, be with grace, be respectful. And I'm like, no, that's not us anymore. We live in a different era. Women are running the world. You know, I'm the bread maker of this house, so I'm going to stand up. So I don't care.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Something that we do here at the very end is I'll have you look in this camera and just say, I'm Alexis Akiona, or you can say I'm Lex from Lexbreezy. You can say whatever. And then we say, in between you and me, and then anything that you want to say. You know,
like what?
Like, I just filmed a solo episode and I said, I'm Startle Thurston, and between you and me, Portuguese people are the best people on the planet. You know, something, it can be silly, it can be fun. Just something that
let me think.
Want to leave. Yeah, take your time. Yeah, because we did the juice of it.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
No, only you say it.
Oh, only me say it?
My guests, I have them say it.
What's the vibe?
I don't know. I think that's up to you. Like if
Okay.
you want it to be silly and fun. I think you're like out there and fun and a tita, you know. But I also think that you can be elegant and smart and focused
you.
businesswoman.
Yeah.
You know, you have multiple sides.
Yeah.
So up to you.
Okay. So what do I say? I'm Lexbreezy and I'm...
And between you and me, whatever.
Okay, and between you and me,
Like it's a secret. Like between you and me, this is, you know.
mhm. I don't know.
Take your time.
It was the wine, I think.
Oh, that it blew you off. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think I know. I am Lexbreezy, and between me and no, what?
You and me.
Okay, between you and you and me.
You and me.
I'm Lexbreezy, and between you and me, I'm in my I don't give a fuck era. Cheers.